temper ah, bye bye ah. How many naturally aspirated V8 Grand Tourers can you buy now, new? I can't think of any. If you ask me, Bobby, would you buy a 600 horsepower BMW 8 Series V8 bi-turbo or this 470 horsepower naturally aspirated V8? I would get the naturally aspirated car anytime. The moment you have begun your ownership journey, venturing into this level of performance, 500-600 horsepower, you will appreciate naturally aspirated way more than turbocharged drivetrains. Trust me. Right, time to open the top. I've arrived at the... Oh dear. Oh my god. Sorry. Joseph. Morning.
So this is a secret car lah, this one.
Hey, what lah, wait. Walao, wait. Hello. So a lot of people ask me, will I get this or get the S-Class Coupe or S-Class Cabriolet? I love the S-Class Cabriolet, but I think I prefer this now. It's just that bit more analog than S-Class convertible, and the S-Class convertible is jam-packed with a lot of unnecessary technology stuff that's just gonna prove itself to be unreliable in the long run. Whereas this one is a bit like an Aston Martin, you know, finely crafted interior, a big engine, nice sound, and that's it. No high-tech stuff, no air suspension stuff. It's just a beautiful car, beautiful exterior, beautiful interior. That's it. This is the perfect form factor and package for my dream convertible. You know, nice soundtrack, comfortable interior, and a beautiful exterior, decent handling. Okay, this, even though I say the steering doesn't have much feel, is more to my perceived expectations than its objective qualifications in a way. What I mean is, I would perceive it as something like a Aston Martin, you know, or a Ferrari Roma, but it's not. And in retrospect, me coming from a 6 Series convertible, does this car drive better than the 6 Series? Definitely, by a mile. Whereas the 6 Series just feels halfway to a S-Class convertible. But I'm not sure if this will drive better than a Maserati Gran Turismo, you know. The soundtrack, the front end that sticks to the road. Oh, the car downshifts, you hear that? Hear that? See, when you're in a hot hatch, a turbocharged hot hatch, you need to drive faster and faster. But when you are in a Grand Tourer like this with a beautiful soundtrack, you can have your enjoyment in short bursts of your drive. A car with a small engine, you need to build speed to get enjoyment. But a car like this, with a finely crafted engine drivetrain, you know, it's the experience. The brakes feel good, the brake modulation is really good. That part is very much like an Aston Martin or a Porsche, you know. It's wonderful, it's progressive. It goes mad after 5,000 RPM. It pulls harder after 5,000 RPM. Below that it's not as crazy, so there's something special with it. So the drivetrain actually goes crazier towards the end of the range, as opposed to my Aston Martin. Beyond 5,000, there's nothing much there, and nothing much to reward you after 5,000 RPM, whereas this one is different. Let me flip you guys around. Can you guys see Roger there? Alright, I'm done with the driving. Now to go for the walk around review. Alright, and I think I should practice this more often because this is the way home next time. Yeah, this is KL. This is heading into KLGCC. For those of you who may not know, KLGCC is turning itself from just a golf club to a KLGCC resort, basically a gated garden community with a golf clubhouse and residential area. Alright, the fringes of the golf club will be developed into housing areas. A few of us from Horizon actually, and many more from Evo Club actually felt, oh, this is worth buying into, and we've since purchased first condo development here, Jandela. Right.
When I switched to Pro Mileage, in my case, I got 46-47% of savings for that car.
Pro Mileage was the only one that gave me 5,000 extra value to cover, yet still cheaper, a lot less, a lot less.
Now, where do I start? Ever since the LC500 came out in the coupe form, I've always said that, wow, if Lexus made a convertible version, that would be my sort of dream convertible. And there they have it. They have created it, and now I've driven it. I have to say, the handling characteristics of the LC500 suits the convertible more than the coupe. Let me explain. The driving dynamics of the LC500 is more towards comfort, grand touring, and not that crazy serious of a sports car. Meaning, when you turn the car into a corner, even though the front end is fast and responsive, the overall demeanor of the car sits, roll and sits and turn. And it is not the type that is super agile. It is also not the type that is super flat and cuts left and right like a Porsche 911 GT3. No, So it is comfort bias, but it rewards you with the oral enjoyment of that amazing V8 engine under the hood. Now this V8 engine is familiar with Lexus fans because it is in the ISF, the RCF, the GSF, and unfortunately it is not the engine from the LFA. The LFA has a 4.9 V10, whereas these are 5-litre V8s. Alright, in terms of ranking of oral pleasure, I would say this one ranks high, but not towards the gruntal and the grunty explosive type of, let's say, a Jaguar 5-litre V8 or a Maserati 4.7 V8 or an Aston Martin 4.7 V8. Those are rougher, gruntier, whereas this one is smooth and nice until 5,000 RPM. From 5,000 to 7,000 RPM, the engine is behaving like a different monster altogether. All right, it is almost that last 2,000 RPM whereas the car says, okay, you want to be crazy now, huh? Let me accompany you. Now let's go through the design. It is not that big of a difference as compared to the coupe. All right, it is still the beautiful slim LED headlight assembly. That's the daytime running that goes into the headlamp assembly, and then these plastic panels can be, you know, color coded. It's a bit busy here at first. Then you think about what they sought to achieve, right? As if like this one sits above this, you know, it's physical, it's highly physical, so it's very interesting. And then this one droops down with the indicator lights. All right, and then that's the Lexus spindle grille. I think amongst large imposing front grills, only Lexus and Mercedes doesn't come across as super angry. I think this is elegant and beautiful. All right, do you like the yellow color? I think the yellow color on the convertible just looks epic. It's beautiful. All right, many of you would have heard that cars that were originally designed as a coupe, when they will eventually turn into a convertible, there will be some sort of softness, a little bit of rattling. I would say the rattling and the softness is somewhat there, but because of the way this car is tuned, the way this car was designed to drive, it is not that evident. If this were to be positioned or created like an M8 competition, then these type of driving behavior would be maybe unacceptable. But in retrospect, who buys an M8 convertible to go to the track, right? Who wants such a huge car on the track? In that sense, Lexus probably has got it right, because this is more like a cruiser, okay? But it's not clumsy either, right? And the roof mechanism is one of the best mechanisms I've seen. Very, very simple. See a lot of German cars, this mechanism either slides inside here or flips up, you know. For Lexus, it's one piece, it's in there, all right? And it operates really fast, you know, and it's silent. It just pops open. You don't even hear the sound of whirring mechanicals at the back. Japanese at their best, simplicity, okay? And now you look at the wheels. I think these wheels are just absolutely beautiful. All right, see, modern wheel design, right, has a lot of, you know, we call it diamond cut surfacing. And then diamond cut means, you know, in a way the surfaces are just straight cuts, you know, and then there's a very clear line between silver and black. But then this one is more organic. You look at the way it flows, it's so nice, right? The shape of it. And for them to have this part set in chrome and then that gloss black looks really, really nice. All right, the steel brakes feel fantastic. It brakes really well, and it just provides lots of confidence using it. I was feeling that the tires not up to the standards of this car's handling, and true enough, And I just don't think these tires do the car justice when you are pushing it, alright? But when you're daily driving it, they're fine. They're perfectly okay. The rear and all that stays identical to the coupe, alright? That's the little button that releases the boot. And you can see the boot space wasn't really hindered by the roof mechanism, because even in the coupe there aren't a lot of room either. So this is one of the I would say drawbacks if you want to buy this car to go for your golfing sessions. Definitely it will fit one set of golf, but that's about it. You can't fit one where it has your newer set of clubs and your older set of clubs all in. Okay, and it looks unhindered. So my 6 Series, even with the mechanism that stops the roof from operating, coming down, which means lesser space, still has way more space than this. Alright, whereas this one, be it with or without, you won't be affected, because the boot and the roof operates a separate compartment. As for the rear seats, they look completely useless, but at least during emergency, like yesterday, I was able to carry my daughter at the back of the car. She's 5 years old. I believe she would still fit here when she's 6 years old. Another thing she noticed, not me, is that the seating position of the rear seats is a lot higher. So for her height of 5 years old, she was able to look out of the window, and she loves it. She don't mind the lesser space as compared to the 6 Series or the Repeat, but the fact that she can see out, she appreciates that. And then when we come to the interior, everything is just amazing. The interior of this car is finished in a standard that is beyond that of, you know, BMW, Mercedes-Benz, or Audi for that matter. This, even though the direction of the design doesn't seem like it, this is towards the quality levels of an Aston Martin or a Bentley. Alright, maybe Aston Martin, because Bentley has a lot of bling, you know, a lot of neural patterns going on with this interior that you just don't find it here, and then you thought, you know, it's less so. Let's look at the door panels. These are forged carbon door panels here. Yes, the door panels are forged carbon, and these are the exact same nuts that was used in the LFA factory. Alright, so if you have a friend with an LFA who lost one of his nuts, you can say, oh, would you like to get one from my LC500? Now the door panel, this trim level doesn't show the true essence of this design's brilliance. Alright, the best trim level is the one in the beige caramel color. That completely shows how great the design of this interior is. Alright, the door panel is beautiful. Okay, it's almost art-like, and the handles, the stitching, the finishing, the fit and finish is another level. It's just crazy. Alright, and this one is milled from a single piece of aluminium. It just feels beautiful. It's like an art piece on the wall, right? Like a flying bird or something. It's just beautiful, right? The seals are all carbon. There's, you know, polished carbon over here and naked ones over there, matte finish, right? And all this surfacing is just so nice to the touch. There's no reason to have this, but it's there. It's some sort of design, you know, it's just nice. And there are also some very Japanese, intrinsically Japanese details to it, like the aircon. There's almost no difference to that of a Camry, but then this lever here is wrapped in leather, alright, stitched in leather, wrapped in leather. Almost every surface is wrapped in leather except here around the doors. Just this panel is not wrapped in leather, but all these are wrapped in leather, right? And the seats are amazing, I have to say. But even someone my size, I am 95 kg, 5'11", quite a bit overweight, I find the seats rather tight. But The plushness of it is just amazing. The stitching, the leather feel, the feel of this, the whole interior covered in Napa leather is just so nice. Right, Mark Levinson speakers, even though the brand says a lot, but the performance of the stereo that they fitted into this car is not up to standards. Okay, it's not up to the standards of a million ringgit car. As for this part, the chrome parts over here also doesn't look that nice of a finish. I do not understand why they use this finishing at the back of this piece instead of using this finishing, which is a lot nicer and a lot, basically just a lot nicer. They could have standardized all this reflective chrome parts all with this satin chrome finishing, and even this one, satin chrome, will look a lot nicer. And then this part as well, satin chrome will look a lot nicer than this sort of flaky. Can you see the surface? No, it's totally plastic, so could have been better in terms of that, but I would reckon that's a supplier thing. And the door handles pop out, not when you walk near the car, but when you unlock it or when you push it. Alright, you push this and then that's that. You can pull it with the little Lexus logo there. Very nice. The door lock indicator is finished in metal over here. Can my phone focus? Alright. And inside here, these are finished in satin chrome as well. Very nice to the touch. I think the lacking of adjustments is a case of specifications. Alright, the carpets. These carpets are straight up Bentley Aston levels. Alright, these carpets are so nice. Can you see the carpets? They are thick, nice lamb wool, maybe look alike carpets, and the pedals position is just fantastic. The seating position of this car is amazing. It's just on point. Everything, every placement of pedal and all that is just perfect. Okay, now if I were to start the car now, it's getting hot. Start button is over here. I'm not moving my phone. The steering wheel whirs out towards me, and then the explosive kind of animation happens. And probably it's a good idea to close the roof by now. Alright, so to close the roof, it's pretty interesting. They hide it under this panel. In the coupe, this thing is non-operable. Basically, it's just there to be your rest for your palm, right? And this one in the coupe is the same. You just press it down to pull it, alright, and then you press it to close it. Very nice. They integrated this too for you to press and open this, and then they put these two buttons in here. And if I push this direction, it means to close the roof. Alright, I'm gonna push it now while you guys look at how the roof operates. Oops, I need to close the doors first, I believe. Let me continue the operation. Alright, a little bit of a pause there. It's quiet and it's fast. Look at the mechanism. Done. But the windows are still open. I can continue to press it, and for a while then the windows will close, or I can use this button which opens and closes all windows. Okay, pull it up. Yeah, now I'm in my own space here. Now let's look at the interior. Exactly the same as the LC500, but there's no reason I don't like showing this interior over and over and over again, right? Because the finishing is just amazing. The fit and finish. I mean, if Maseratis are finished to this level. See, the funny thing is this: it's not impossible to source metal, it's not impossible to source leather, but it's how you fit them, how you design which parts to click to which part. That shows your engineering capabilities. That is also what you know, Lexus, you know, Audi, they are really, really good at. Even Porsche, right? You can't find weird cut lines running out like a Peugeot, right? So this is where it shines. The fit and finish of this car is just superb. Okay, all these surfaces are leather, they feel good, they look good, you know, clean and dignified. That is Japanese luxury. The Japanese, especially the rich and the luxurious, they keep it, you know, a bit low key. You can look at this LC500. You can also look at the Toyota Crown. It's low key. All right. This whole panel, look at the design of this whole panel. It looks like one single piece of metal, and this part is cut out. These are what, look at this, what a beautiful chamfered finish, you know. It's just so natural. It happens so natural, and it just works great, right? So, and then down here is the CD. Here is a little badge saying Mark Levinson. Here is a simple singular cup holder, which is all right. I can put my phone and all that, no qualms with that. And then here is the panel that controls everything. This one, at first it may seem, you know, hard to use. It's not easy to use, but it takes a week, and then you need to know where and what is seated where, and then after that, operating it is pretty straightforward. But you see, you always kind of fly over. See, I just won audio just now, but it just goes away. So it's one of the major complaints of owners. The volume knob, you know, one knob to power on and off, and then to turn the volume is nice, but I would like to have a little bit of clicks there to register. You know, it feels more substantial when you turn the dial and something actually registers at the back, you know, tuck, 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 tuck. At least to feel it. This one doesn't. It's just smooth turning, feels like something that has been dislodged, you know. And this one is to adjust the Sport Plus, you know. See, normal, and then probably Eco Comfort, and then Sport S, Sport Plus. Okay, so using this to turn that. And this one is for the traction control, snow or off. All right, and the pedals look great. Single piece aluminium, just feels fantastic. The stalks, everything just feels great, you know. Even these buttons, they are actually metallic but finished in black, so they ought to look like plastics, but actually they're metal. All right, even all these as well, all are aluminium buttons, very nice. Okay, these are as well, these are plastics, but overall it's just a fantastic cabin. I wouldn't spec it in this color though. I would spec it in, you know, some more exciting color, blue or caramel. You know, this is so Toyota. So they covered this in leather, but then they didn't really bother with that as well. That's Japanese car for you. Pragmatic at times. All right, too pragmatic at times. And then this one is another holder. You can put your drinks. This one can be removed, but oh, after you remove this, there's another thing down there, which, oh well, you know, for you to slot your stuffs. And then once you pull this is nice, you know, the way it closed towards the end, it slows down, like how a Japanese lady would close their door when they slide their door, gently go out, and then towards the end, boom. All right, so this one is interesting. You pull it here, and then it reveals this lever to open it to the driver's side. Inside you get, you know, USB ports and the likes. Okay, 12-volt socket. Pretty practical in a way. All right, this button actually opens up the glove box. All right, very small glove box, but overall no qualms there. Okay, so yep, that's the Lexus LC500. How do I like it? I love it. I love it. It's not that this car doesn't have its flaws. All right, the steering has no steering feel at all. All right, whether I'm turning this angle at 70 kilometers per hour or a more extreme angle at 120 kilometers per hour, it feels the same, it weighs the same. Alright, it's just that easy to drive. Turning into Sport Plus, of course, it feels slightly heavier. This is one of those cars whereby Sport Plus and Sport and Normal has very little fluctuations in terms of how it behaves differently. Alright, more or less the character of the car shines through. That's what the designers want it to be. That's how they envision it to be, and they keep it that way with some variations, right? It's not like they are not confident with what they want to present to you and then totally change the character when you turn into another mode. Okay? As for the drive, it can be better in my opinion. Could have been little bit more sportier when I go into Sport Plus, but it's not. So there be it. That means when I'm doing high speed driving in terms of flowy high speed roads, it's fine, but it's not entirely super confidence inspiring. Okay, so that means there are a lot of times whereby I am left in ambiguity whether the car has set or has finished its weight transfer. You know, where am I? That makes you doubt it, right? So these are small qualms. I don't mean the car is completely clumsy and all that. It is still a nicer car to drive than my 6 Series, but I think there are many cars in this price point that sort of handles better than it. However, I need you to rethink who is the competitor of this car, like an S-Class Coupe or an S-Class Convertible, which is a few 100,000 ringgit more expensive than this, has a turbocharged engine, 4-liter turbocharged V8, has a lot of high-tech stuff, specifications and all that, right? But those cars are expensive and they don't drive half as athletic as this, while this is just as comfortable as those, right? Suspension-wise, travel is limited, even though I mentioned it rolls a bit, right? It's not like this car is the type where it okay, actually the suspension is actually very good. It's just that at certain rumble strips and all that, the rear feels like it hops a bit more than the front. And of course, these tires doesn't really do it justice as well in terms of sportier drive. Alright, so that's about it. I think it's a fantastic car to daily own, or as a final car. Let's say you are 50 years old, you are retired, you want a final car that you can drive until you paid it off. You don't plan to sell it, you just want to own it and then let it, run its course. This is a fantastic car to drive and own and just pile on the mileage and just let it be. Alright, it's a brilliant car, and it is one of those cars where 10-20 years down the road there will be collectors wanting to collect it. Alright, cheers.